Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a good weekend. Today we're going to do a video on month end for equities. I know I said I wasn't going to do it just because there's a million and one guys that do it and I don't want to be a million and one. However, after thinking about it and giving it a lot of thought, I realized that there is a little bit of a value add, looking at it from real traders, real talk, keeping everything as real as possible, trying to give you ideas of where you should be. This is going to be geared towards more the intraday guys and the 1 to 3, 4, 5 day hold guys that are more active. This is really more of an active sequence as opposed to investing. So from that angle, hopefully this will be a value add. With that being said, let's just get started. We have a lot of names to get through since the month just ended. So here we go. Okay, so we'll start with the S&P. Obviously, the S&P has had a big run up. You can tell this is a monthly chart. So you could see in the month of April we had this huge move, and then we recovered. So on the monthly, the S&P is looking fine. As a matter of fact, I would even venture to say that at this point, new highs are probably in the cards. It's happening a lot faster than I thought it was going to happen. I didn't think we would be here until probably Q3, Q4, probably closer to Q4, but we're getting there a lot faster. If we go out to the daily, you can see it even. You can see the S&P is really what you need to focus in on right now is this area right here. We get above this high of 59.68 in the S&P cash. We're probably going to take out these highs. You know, we're probably going to make new all-time highs. We're moving very quickly. A lot of it is, as you've all heard, the taco trade. You know, that's the new one. Taco stands for Trump always chickens out. It's a trade was coined by a reporter at the FT, and it really is starting to gain some traction. But the S&P is, to be honest with you, looks really good. I think that it's probably going to get there faster than anyone really believes. So that's the S&P. All right, let's just quickly look at the NDX. We're just going to do a top-down. Let's look at the NDX first. Also, let's just look at the monthly first. On the monthly, again, huge wide-ranging bar in the month of April, obviously. A lot of it had to do with Liberation Day. Now, we're also probing new highs on the NDX. We go to the daily, you could see it. You know, new highs are up here at 22.40, 22. New all-time highs would be 22, 23, so we're getting there. We take out Thursday's high of 21.611, which I really believe we're going to get there. We're really just pushing very heavy. Just quickly look at semis. Also, same kind of deal. Semis are a little bit lagging, but again, they're holding where they have. I mean, look at these moves off of the April lows are so impressive. I mean, they're really just so impressive. Even looking at it the monthly, the move is just so impressive. I want to show you one thing also. This is quarterly. This is the S&P on a quarterly basis, and you could see on the quarterly, we've really done not so much on a quarterly basis it's not as dramatic as it is on the, let's say, the monthly, the weekly or the daily. Within the quarter, we're really to a large extent stuck in the mud. You know, this is Q1 and this is Q4 of 24. So we're really just sitting at those highs. We're just not going anywhere. But I think this time we're going to push through on a quarterly basis. With that being said, let's get the stocks to give you some action. So we're going to start semis. We'll go some AI. We'll do some energy. We'll do some biotech. We'll do some financials. We'll wrap it up with Mag 7, and that'll be it. So here we go. So semis, obviously NVIDIA had earnings this past week. NVIDIA didn't do a whole heck of a lot, to be honest with you. You know, you had the gap up on earnings, and it really, if you look at what we really did, in terms of earnings, we did nothing. I mean, NVIDIA is exactly where it was before earnings, so the whole earnings thing was a dud. The stock looks fine. There's probably better places to be. Honestly, it's a little bit dead money. It's really gone nowhere. If you even go out on a more, let's go on a monthly for a second, you could see we've really just done nothing. I mean, the stock is just doing nothing. So I don't, as a trade, yeah, I would be careful on a multi-day hold. I would probably wait for it to get down to the 21 day at about 128. If it holds the 8 day and it pushes up, then you can use that. But if not, I would be looking more towards the 21 day. But again, there's better places to be. Taiwan semi looking pretty good also. Holding where it needs to. Again, a lot of these semi plays are going to be dependent on, they're moving a lot on China news, so I would be very, very careful with them. I would keep them tight, only because of the fact that anything that comes out related to China and China news could hit these things very, very hard. There was a headline that came out yesterday, Saturday, May 31st, that the defense secretary said that an attack by China on Taiwan is imminent. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's not real. I know all the news outlets picked it up. I don't know. I'm not even gonna guess that way. And the truth of the matter is, you can't. You just have to control what you can control, and whatever you can't control, it is what it is. Broadcom, again, Broadcom looking great. Broadcom looks really, really amazing. This is probably gonna take out this 252. At this week, I think it's gonna be significantly higher. I mean, the stock is looking amazing. Qualcomm. Qualcomm's a little bit more dead money, so I wouldn't waste my time here. ASML. Again, also a little bit more on the dead side. I mean, there's things to do in these things, but they're better places to be. These are not, but they're in the semi space. They're attached to AI, so you need to pay attention to them. But again, they're both of these names are pretty dead. Quantum computing looks interesting. I don't really like these cheapy names. Things that are cheap are usually cheap for a reason, but it is in the AI space, so I would keep my eye on it. I wouldn't really focus heavily on it. Palantir looks amazing. I mean, that stock was just a rock star on Friday. Looks really, really good. So if you were trading this is your day one. You would add day two, and then day three you're trimming and trailing. If you're not in this and you've missed this day one, you can still get in, depending on what it does tomorrow on Monday. You can still get in, but just remember you've missed a lot of this. But this was a massive move on Friday. But this thing looks amazing. It's probably going to keep rocking and rolling. Let's just take a look at this quickly on a monthly. Or a weekly first, and we'll go to a monthly. Yeah, I mean, look, this week was powerful. A lot of it was attributed to Friday. On the monthly, I mean, look at this. This is just gorgeous. So, Palantir is something to look at. And then let's just look at one last play in AI space. This is AppLovin. Again, also looking very, very good. Really, really strong. A lot of these stocks look really, really good. But they're very, very they're subject to headline risks, so just be careful with them. All right, so that takes care of our semis and AI plays. Let's just go quickly into energy. The reason why I'm bringing up energy today as opposed to anything else is because we had the OPEC meeting yesterday. OPEC is going to be increasing by 411,000 barrels a day. Market knew it was coming. Market was hoping for 400. They're at 411. That's the second time that's the third increase. So obviously there's more supply coming. This will affect these guys, these energy plays, their business. So we'll see how this plays out. But you should keep them on your radar because energy will be definitely in play. So Exxon, obviously, Chevron. Also, a lot of these names don't look so great. So even if you're looking to short, that's fine too. But just give you ideas. ConocoPhillips, you could see these are all dailies. You could see what they're all doing. I mean, they're all looking like shorts, which is fine. You're allowed to short, but just one thing with shorts and short selling. Just be aware of one thing. The real short sellers, who I consider the police of the market, are not shorting companies like this. Shorts that are in the market are looking to find accounting irregularities, nefarious activities within the business model, things that the stock should be zero. Short sellers are not going after Exxon, ConocoPhillips, Home Depot, McDonald's. They're not interested in those names because those names, they're legit businesses where there is no problem of nefarious activity. So when you're shorting with traders just for a move down. You're not looking for these things to go to zero. They're not going to go to zero. They're real businesses. EOG Resources. Again, you could see there's a constant theme. There's a consistent theme throughout with this energy plays. A lot of it had to do with this OPEC meeting. So we'll see how these things open up tomorrow. Marathon Petroleum. This one looks really, really good. It's a refiner. They look really good. Speaking of refiners, this is good. Valero. Big, nice move off the bottom, holding where it needs to. I mean, it's not the greatest looking chart, but again, it's just giving you ideas. Some of the drillers and in the exploration space, Halliburton. Obviously, with prices going up, this guy's they're gonna suffer. Schlumberger, same kind of story. Baker Hughes, same kind of story. Let's look at some natural gas plays. Kinder Morgan. This I would keep on my radar because this is looking really good for a push up. I think we're going to get to 29. We potentially could get up to 31. I would keep this up. I understand they're not big moves, but it doesn't matter. There's still money to be made here. Cheniere looking good. Again, day one looking really, really good. You had a nice move here where you held, and now you're pushing again. So probably we're looking at a move up to 245, 250 possibly. And last in the energy place we'll look at is EQT. Again, also looking pretty good, holding where it needs to. Now, granted, it is bending over here. If it takes out Friday's lows, we're probably going to try. We're probably going to get to the 50. That's what it looks like it wants to go. You could see the stock basically goes in that where it'll get above the 8 and 21, hang out, and then it keeps coming back to like a magnet to the 50. So I would be looking for that type of move, and that'll take care of energy. One thing I wanted to look at also, let's just look quickly at the ETFs. Again, the ETFs are going to tell the same story as the stocks because the stocks are the ETF. That's the XLE, OIH. What is looking kind of interesting is biotech. So let's look at the IBB and the XBI. So the IBB looking somewhat interesting. Granted, you could say it's a little bit of a choppy, sloppy mess, but it's starting to pick up its head a little bit. XBI. Same thing. They are choppy and sloppy. I'm not going to say that they're not, but if they can start to get their groove back, maybe these things will be in play. So some of the names in those, Gilead, which looks really, really good. So it's interesting. Some of the stocks look better than the ETFs, but here, Gilead looking really good. Amgen looking really good. Amgen probably going to get to this 290, 250. Looking really nice. Regeneron. For this, I would basically be using Friday. So a move above we get a gap above not a gap. A move above Friday's highs, you could buy it. A move below, you're looking to short it. Vertex. Not looking so great. So Amgen, Gilead looking really good. Regeneron, Vertex, not so much. Biogen looking interesting. Could definitely probably get up to 140-ish. If we could take out these 2-day highs, then at 132, 133, this might start making a move potentially. Exact Sciences. This actually is looking good. It's riding the 8-day. I would be looking for moves above Friday's high. ALNY, here's your day one, here's your day two. I'd be more careful. I wouldn't be buying day three. I'd be waiting for a retracement. I would wait for a retracement back, because again, here's your day one, which was Thursday, day two on Friday. So I would not be buying this. And then INSEE looking interesting. Again, use Friday. We're sitting here at the 200 at 65.06. That's the 200 is literally at 65.35 at this point at the time of this. We're holding right there. I would wait, and then just use the 200 as your way to kind of maneuver around this. This is getting a little too long in the tooth. Let's just get quickly into some financials. JPM, again, also looking kind of interesting. Financials are just hanging where they need to. Citi, the same thing. You'll see the same recurring theme. Bank of America, they're all holding where they need to. Wells Fargo, they're not blockbuster, but they're just holding. Look at some of them. Goldman, nothing special. Morgan Stanley, nothing special. CME. I'm going to talk about CME right now. CME is a great. I look at CME as a hedge. When markets are really ripping to the downside, CME is usually up. Not always, but usually. It's just like a hedge. So I would be looking at CME. I mean, as you can see, it's a beautiful looking stock. I mean, obviously now I wouldn't be buying this. I'd be waiting for retracements for this but look how beautiful this looks. I mean, you can't. It doesn't get any better. I mean, this trend is awesome. Okay, so CME, I would keep that on my radar. It doesn't sound like a sexy name, but at the end of the day, there's real money to be made here. All right, let's go quickly through FANG in Mag 7, whatever. Apple, nothing special. I mean, a lot of these names are not going to be anything special. Microsoft, obviously, is a rock star. Looks great. Amazon, Google, Meta, looking better. But again, a lot of these names, a lot of these tech, the video we look at, a lot of these tech names are not going to look as exciting as some other places. CrowdStrike, looking good. Netflix, obviously Netflix is looking amazing. Netflix is pushing into live entertainment. This thing is going to be $1,500. It just looks like it just wants to get there. At some point, I think Netflix potentially could be a $2,000 name. At the rate that it's going, it's very easy for it to happen. ServiceNow. So you could see just from and let's just look quickly at the NYSE FANG, because I like that index. So you could see a NYSE FANG is holding basically where it needs to. But if you look at the individual names, you could see why the market's just not doing much, because a lot of these names, listen, Apple and Microsoft are the top two holdings. So look what Apple is basically doing nothing to a large extent. Microsoft looks as it tells a different story. So if 1 and 2 are basically balancing each other out, so then you could look at it almost like one's a -2 and one's a +2. Net it's a 0, which means that from a traction perspective, the indices are not going to really get anywhere. Now there's an old adage: sell in May and go away. Historically, that doesn't even work. The gains from May through, let's say, October, November are they're still gains. Maybe they're not as potent as November, October, November through May, but the reality is the market does go up. So this sell in May nonsense, that's just all it is, just to keep you out. I wouldn't even focus on it. Do what you do, and find quality names that make sense, and then just go with it. All right, have a great week, and I'll see you next week.